My name is Abigail Huber, and this is my introductory speech. I'll first introduce you to my audience. These are my coworkers. This is Katie, Ashley, Laura, Dan, and Courtney. Recently, I had the pleasure of meeting my political icon. She has always been someone who I looked up to, and I first became interested in politics from her advocacy work in the White House. When I was little, I knew that someday I wanted to be in the White House, and preferably not just on a tour. When I was little, I knew that I grew up in a rural town in central Wisconsin that veered from the stereotypical farmland scene. Our biggest industry was instead a large research clinic and hospital complex that employed a large percentage of the town, including my mother. My father was landlord at the apartment complex where I was raised and taught me how to fix a toilet with a paperclip and everything else. But as I grew up, I was always pushed in the direction of the medical industry because that's where my parents thought all the jobs were. But I just wasn't passionate in the sciences, and I realized when I moved to Madison that politics and social justice was what I really wanted to focus on. I left my hometown to come to college at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and immediately fell in love with the activist vibe of the city. Although I did get frustrated with the UW and the lack of opportunities I felt it provided at some times, I became wrapped up in what was going on outside of just the college bubble. My sophomore year of college, life was turned upside down for many Wisconsinites when collective bargaining and recall Walker became the most common phrase uttered around the town. I spent the better part of that February at the Capitol absorbing the live demonstration of democracy in front of me. It didn't matter which side of the aisle people were on. It was just amazing to see the turnout of all those people who wanted their voices and opinions to be heard. It was one of the first times I participated in a demonstration, but it was certainly not the last. In the next year, I was offered an internship with the then Congresswoman Tammy Baldwin. We had had the opportunity to meet several times before I took the internship, but I was still starstruck with her every time. On one of my first days, I was so nervous when we were in the elevator, I kept forgetting to push the button for the floor we were going to, so we just rode it up and down, and where others had to get off on their floors, the Congresswoman happily told me about her new bread maker that she had just bought. From then on, the embarrassment and nervousness only continued when I accidentally saluted Condoleezza Rice and was a giggling wreck when meeting Joe Biden. So past experiences told me that when I was meeting the lady that I had dreamed about meeting since I was a kid, Hillary Clinton, it would only end with my shame. But thanks to the assurance from my boss that I was doing fine, paired with the threats that I'd better not embarrass her, it was the least amount of awkward that I'm capable of being, which is close enough in my book. I still get the rise of adrenaline every time I get to talk about politics, but landing in the spot in the White House is no longer really a goal for me. My time in Madison has taught me that there are many outlets for getting involved, and you don't need to be directly working for a place of prestige in order to make a difference. All right, and now I'll show you that my audience is still here. Caitlin, Ashley, Laura, Dan, and Courtney.